Welcome to TWIG, your weekly, geekly, family-friendly news show that tackles everything from gaming's first historical library to Marvel's first family, returning with some games in between. We are glad to be back for Season 5 of this show. I am NerdPastorNate. I'm really the pastor of Checkpoint Church, a church online designed with nerds, geeks, and gamers in mind. We produce this show and create it for your viewing pleasure so that we can reach you and your family with the good, nerdy news that is happening over the past week. If you're listening on the podcast version of the show, be sure to go and give us a good review. Find us if you're over on YouTube, if you're watching the VOD after the fact, or you can come and listen live over on YouTube every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. We would love to have you in any of those places. I am going to let our guests introduce themselves and tell us what they have been watching, playing, and reading. And I'm going to encourage you in the chat to also let us know what you have been watching, playing, and reading. Without further ado, take it away.
Hello, I'm DGC, a fellow member of Checkpoint Church, and I've been watching quite a bit over the break. Most of it was due to watch parties, but of course our anime club. I watched some of Harry, but I dropped it because I just could not get into it. The protagonist was so annoying.
They are pretty extra.
Yeah. And honestly, I feel like Steins Gate does what Harley doesn't. It also been watched Transformers 1. I watched Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul. Meet the Robinsons, Anastasia, Dragon Ball Daima, as that recently had its English dub. Sakamoto Days. I watched some of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, but I could not get through all of it. It was just, it was so bad.
That's funny. It is definitely a dated program at this point.
And of course, I finished watching Hall of Fruba. So good. Absolutely one of my all-time favorites now. And then watched more of season 2 of Blue Lock. And then Wild Robot. Finally watched Sonic the Hedgehog 3 with my brother. And watched the Fire Emblem OVA, The Lion King, Pan's Labyrinth, The Gathering, the 1998 version, Rango, and along with some streams and YouTube.
You have been busy. That is so many things.
Yes. It was fun though. Most of the stuff I enjoyed.
That is good. All right. What you been playing and reading?
Played some more Hong Kong Star Rail. I had to do some grinding because I was having some difficulties with the first fight in the 2.6 patch. It was just really difficult, but that was fine because they allowed me to go do some side stuff, and which was very enjoyable. I finally was able to do it. I just did earlier today, and now I'm able to continue on there.
Very good.
And I played also some Rhythm, Final Fantasy, Final Barline, as I got that as a birthday. I'm sorry, it was a late Christmas gift from my mom, as well as did some more of the fourth case of Ace Attorney Investigations, and then I started up Steins Gate Elite for my playthrough. And as what I've been reading, I've read a bit of Full Metal and been reading Kingdom Prayer, touching Heaven to Change Earth, as that's part of a study that my Sunday school is doing.
Very cool. Love it. Yeah, that is a thorough and dense list, as it has been a bit since we have last caught up on the watch, play, read stuff. As I did mention, if
It's
you're in
been
the
a
chat, feel
month.
free to drop your watch, play, reads. Let me know what you've been getting into. I have been watching Barry Kramer's latest VOD of Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice, which is just a delight. I'm enjoying his Let's Plays as I always do. And then I've also been watching the new Spider-Man Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man show, and I'm enjoying that well enough. I don't have a ton of extra time to be watching things nowadays. It feels like most of my time is spent either watching my kids or playing games. Those have been my two focuses. So it is a little bit of what it is there, but I definitely need to catch up on the movies and the shows. Been playing. I finished Citizen Sleeper 2 almost in a single sitting. It was so incredibly good. It is just such a good game, so well written, just a perfect experience all around. If you enjoyed Citizen Sleeper 1 at all, you will love this one as well. I think that it perfected the formula in a lot of ways, and to me, at least, was better written, and I enjoyed the first one's writing a whole lot, so loving it. And then Crypt Custodian is our Button Bash Brigade game of the month, and I started that one and have made significant headway into it. I like the vibes. I didn't realize that it was made by the same people as made a game that I very much did not like, so I was a little bit bummed to find that out, but I'm going to give this one my old college try, and so far am enjoying it well enough. I do enjoy a Metroidvania, but I do think it has some pacing issues, but it's still good. It's a good game so far. And then reading, I have been reading lots of things, as I always am. But in particular, I did start the new Eiichiro Oda, well, I guess old Eiichiro Oda from One Piece collection called Wanted, which was a lot of the kind of one-offs, spin-offs, initial Romance Dawn era, that kind of stuff from One Piece. And it is interesting. It's, all of them are fine. None of them obviously took off. So they're all kind of in that Toriyama Theater-esque like experience of none of them are really that phenomenal. They're just kind of good to see like the art style of a mangaka that you followed for a long time, polishing up their work. So good enough stuff there. And then I've been particularly perplexed by a book called 7.5 Lessons of the Brain. That's been a lot of fun. I enjoy learning about sciencey things like that every now and again, and the brain is one of the more interesting things that exists. So I'm curious to know more about it from the perspective of someone who knows about it. So that's what I've been getting into. Do let me know what you've been getting into as well, especially if you are checking out the VOD after the fact. Let us know down in the comments. We're going to get into some of our nerdy news because that is what you are here for. We got a couple of articles for you tonight, and we're going to be doing some new things with season 5. One of the things that I'm going to work on with this season is going to be trying to approach these things from an angle of our rules. So we are a real life church. We're not going to make this like a Christian podcast, but it is going to be from our perspective of doing good, doing no harm, and striving to grow, seeing how we can approach the things that are in the news with that in mind as sort of a just not necessarily like always outwardly spoken, although maybe outwardly spoken kind of vibes feel of like, how is this thing that we're talking about relating to our lives of do-goodery, of ending harm, and of growth? What does that look like? So DGC, I don't have any highlights here. Are there any that you would like to read?
I can take the Fantastic Four one.
All right, take it away.
Right. So recently we had the release of the Fantastic Four trailer. 2025 is shaping up to be a huge year for the Fantastic Four as they reclaim their place at the center of Marvel's universe. After years of being sidelined due to corporate disputes and a poorly received film in 2015, the first family is making a comeback in multiple ways. Their MCU debut in the Fantastic Four First Steps arrives in July, while Ryan North's One World Under Doom event will shake up the comics, placing Doctor Doom in a major new role. The team is also getting attention in gaming with Marvel Rivals, making them central to its first post-launch season. With their return to prominence across multiple media, it's clear that Marvel is finally giving the Fantastic Four the attention they deserve, positioning them as key players in both the current comics and the expanding MCU. That's it.
Yes, I loved it. I thought it was a great trailer. I immediately had to call up my buddy that we've been watching every Marvel movie since they came out. You know, that's been our thing. And so as soon as this one dropped, we had to talk about it, debrief, and see what we loved. Some of the things that stood out to me right away were the Thing looking like the Thing from the comics, in particular, like Jack Kirby's Thing, which is great. I enjoy a kind of less realistic portrayal of a live action character. I think that was the reason that I was one of the few that enjoyed the Eternals movie, because I just kind of like the lack of realism in these things. I think that they're superheroes and it's fine to let them be that. And I was bummed with this one to not see too much of Joseph Quinn, who of course rose to stardom from Stranger Things season 3. As his portrayal as Eddie. I wanted to see more of what his Human Torch was going to be, but we didn't really get a peek. Beyond the fact that whenever I saw him, I went and looked at the IMDb to see if it was a young Freddie Prinze Jr., because it looked just like him. I was like, that is 100% just Fred Jones from Scooby-Doo all of a sudden showing up. But I guess that's just the angle they're trying to take the character. So I'm totally down. I think that this is an interestingly positive season for the Fantastic Four. We really kind of took a shift with Multiverse of Madness with John Krasinski's surprise portrayal as Mr. Fantastic that went so poorly, or at least for me, went so poorly. I guess not everybody hated it, but I couldn't stand it. I didn't like the 2015 film very much either. I didn't hate the 2005 film. I thought that was fine. And this one just looks like another really good telling. I like the 60s vibe. I like what they're doing. I'm excited to see more and glad to see that Galactus looks like Galactus in the special tease throw to that character.
Yeah, I honestly went into this with low expectations, and it actually ended up turning out looking good.
Yeah.
I was someone who enjoyed the old 2000 films,
Right.
so I I'm I'm curious to see how well this does.
Yeah. It's going to be a must watch. I'm going to have to see it in theaters. Like, it's going to be one that is going to be the blockbuster that will actually be seen by me. I'm willing to pay movie theater prices just to get that experience. So time will tell how it does pan out and how it does start performing. I did have the conversation with my buddy of like, I really don't need to see more, with the exception of like getting to see maybe some Johnny. I don't need any more from the trailer. Give me another trailer and then don't give me anything else, because I don't want too much of this film to be shown. I find that can be a thing that tends to detract sometimes from some of the stories where they tell too much of the trailer.
Yep, and not just in movies and trailers for other stuff too, including video games.
Totally.
They've done that before.
Oh, absolutely. It's just too much. They give away the plot and it becomes a bit of a bummer. I was thinking about this one from whatever our angle might be to do good, do no harm, strive to grow, that kind of thing. And I do think that this is a good opportunity to do some good. This is an opportunity for the people that are at Marvel to kind of reinvigorate a sense of familial connection. I think that the relationships, the friendships, the family dynamic of this will be kind of the first time we've ever really gotten that from this iteration of the MCU. Like, I think we've probably had some moments where it's kind of like crept in for a moment or two. We might have had like a married couple, or we had like the Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver kind of quick relationship, right? But this is the first opportunity I think that we've got for a like real good, deep dive into a family of supers and what they can do and how they can bond and what they can present. And I think that's a powerful opportunity for doing some good and building up some camaraderie amongst people who probably need it right now.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, do let us know your thoughts if you have any further around this. Did you like the trailer? Did you hate the trailer? What were your gives and takes as far as this one goes? I would love to hear what you think about it. And we're going to move into our next one. Our next news article is about Summer Game Fest. Summer Game Fest is returning to Los Angeles from June 6th to the 9th, 2025, the live kickoff show at the YouTube Theater hosted by Jeff Keighley. The event will begin with a 2-hour showcase streamed across more than 20 platforms, including YouTube, Twitch, and Steam. Public ticket sales will open later in the spring for those wanting to attend in person. Summer Game Fest continues to grow, with last year's event reaching over 36 million live streams and 8,000 co-streams, of which we were one of them. New this year is a business-to-business thought leader event exploring industry trends, led by Christopher Dring and Keeley. SGF will also feature partner showcases, including Day of the Devs, SGF Edition, which highlights indie games. More details are available on the official Summer Game Fest website and social media channels. I'm a fan of Summer Game Fest. I love this event. I think that it's a lot of fun. I have always been a fan of Jeff Keighley. I know that not everybody is a huge fan, but I think that what he does is good, and the shows are good. And even if they are just an excuse to get together and watch a bunch of advertisements, I think that is just fine with me. An opportunity and an excuse to get together is enough of a good thing for me to give this one 2 thumbs up. So we will certainly be watching the opening night live, or whatever they call it this time. We'll be watching the intro bit together, and I am actually super curious about the B2B thought leader thing. I love GDC and watching the interviews that GDC hosts. So that's kind of what it sounds like, and I am all sorts of down. Any thoughts on you from this one, DGC?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it usually ends up being sometimes a mixed bag, but I do enjoy it. It's fun. It's nothing like E3. I mean, nothing. I don't think it'll ever replace that.
See, I don't really have necessarily the connection with E3. I remember some of the Spike or gaming channel or whatever. I remember some of the hype from E3, but I always felt super disconnected. I always felt like an event that I didn't get to actually be a part of. And this, I feel maybe I'm probably putting the cart before the horse here, because I don't think that Summer Game Fest was necessarily where it started, but I really enjoy how the current trend of these festivals is to have these big partner showcases. I think those are super fun. And I think that is something that, at least for me, was not formerly online. Maybe it was like a pre-COVID thing. Maybe COVID was what actually made that shift rather than SGF. But when they shifted a lot of those things into digital entertainer showcases, that made it really fun for me, because now I feel like we have Wholesome Games Showcase and we have Day of the Devs, and instead of getting a ticket to the Day of the Devs, now they do all their stuff online. And then they also have some stuff that you don't get to be a part of, but I love that. I think it's good.
Yeah, that is nice. I would say COVID probably had a bit to do with it, but mainly just I think people starting to not be a part of that. We, I think when Nintendo started, it was the first start with Nintendo, then the other three.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I enjoyed it, but yeah, I can understand why people would enjoy this more, because
Yeah, I think about E3 kind of like I think about CES, where it's like I enjoy seeing my social media people share about their experiences. That was kind of what it was like. Whereas this one, we get to host it as Checkpoint, and we get to talk about it and hang out in the chat and get to be a part of the conversation. So that's an exciting thing. So do let us know. Pin that date, June 6th. Be sure to be there. Tune in with us as we watch through the Summer Game Fest experience together. I'm looking forward to it already. that, we're going to get into our next news article for tonight, which deals with The Last of Us. The Last of Us Season 2 is said to feature intense, previously cut content from The Last of Us Part 2 video game, according to the showrunner Neil Druckmann. Some of these quote-unquote pretty brutal scenes include lost levels restored in the PlayStation 5 remaster, such as the eerie Seattle sewers. Additionally, a pretty prominent character mentioned but never seen in the game will make an appearance, similar to how Frank was introduced in Season 1. The upcoming season, premiering in April, introduces new cast members like Caitlin Dever as Abby and Catherine O'Hara as a mystery role. HBO plans to extend the adaptation beyond one season, with Season 2 structured to end at a key breakpoint after 7 episodes, setting up a potential third season. I'm nervous. I'm so nervous about this show. It did not.
Same.
I mean, the game was so controversial, and people were so upset about things we won't spoil. And I'm so anxious. I'm so incredibly anxious. I will not stop being anxious until we get to the other side of this show.
Yeah, they definitely have an uphill battle right there.
And I think that they did such a good job with Season 1 that I shouldn't be worried. Like, it's going to be fine. They know what they're doing. They figured out their audience. They know the story. They know the way they want to tell it. But I'm just nervous. I just need it to be, I need to see the reaction of people. And I think we'll get it in the first 2 episodes. So I think we just need maybe 2 or 3 episodes to go by to see the mood and how people feel about it. But yeah, it's going to be an experience. Savannah in the chat affirms looking forward to a second season of Last of Us, but also sharing those nerves. So that's definitely, I think that's probably the mutual feeling for everybody that has played through Part 2 and knows the story of Part 2 and is aware of where things are going. I almost covered an article that dealt with Abby not looking as bulk in this role. The actress that they cast as Abby is not quite as like beefy. And that being not an intentional choice necessarily, but that it wasn't an intentional choice for them to cast someone that looked that particular way. And that was an interesting take. I do think that is video game casting, man. Like that's just, you're going to get characters you're going to get and you're going to portray them the way you're going to portray them. But it does make me wonder if they're going to adjust some characters' personalities, kind of like they did. I mean, they really did in Season 1 to a certain extent. I think that the way that Ellie was portrayed was great, but it was definitely a bit of a different vibe. There was just a slight shift into the portrayal of a character that I think could completely change the reaction to this season. But we'll see. I will give a quick shout out to Prof Noctis. For those of you that are not already subscribed to Prof Noctis, you should check him out. He is starting up a Last of Us breakdown. So just like he did with Final Fantasy, and he's done with a couple Final Fantasies at this point, going to be playing through as well as watching both seasons and both games in a professorial kind of way, like he is wont to do, where he live streams and breaks them down from the angle of a video games professor. So you can enjoy that angle that will be taken there. And that's a free shout out there for you, Prof Noctis. Happy to offer it. So do be sure to go there. With that, we're going to get into our next little bit, which is not news so much as a very special segment that still does not have a song, even in Season 5. It's the start of something new with a legally distinct ending so that we don't get sued. This is a segment of the show where we talk about what is coming to Xbox, Game Pass, PlayStation, any of those sorts of things as we get in to the new month of February. So for Game Pass subscribers, some of the exciting things that you can look forward to is Far Cry New Dawn will be entering into the cloud console and PC world February 4th. So it already is. You can go play it right now with your Game Pass subscription. Same with Another Crab's Treasure, which has returned to Game Pass and is also now available on Game Pass Standard. Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes, February 5th also, so you can go play that one right now. Starfield is now with Game Pass Standard, so obviously it has been on Game Pass before, but now will be on the standard play. Madden NFL 25 is going to be available through EA Play and Game Pass Ultimate starting today. Today is whenever that officially launches. Next week, Kingdom 2 Crowns will be coming cloud and console February 13th to Ultimate and Standard. And then the much anticipated Avowed will be releasing on Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass on cloud, PC, and Xbox Series X and S on February 18th. So I know a lot of folks are interested and curious about where that one will go. And I'm trying to remember the PlayStation ones. They're all available already. I think it's High on Life, Pac-Man World, and what's the last one? Payday 3. So you can go and play those if you have a PlayStation Plus subscription. Download those to your library and get those in your access. So that is the start of something new. Any of those interest you, DGC? I got to say, kind of a wash for me. I'm not necessarily going to add any of these to the list. The one that I want to play, I already have played.
I don't really use Game Pass all that much. At least not anymore.
Right.
Same with PlayStation Plus, very much as well. I think the only game subscription service I use now is Nintendo Switch Online. And even if I did, I think the only games I'd probably be interested is another Crab's Treasure and Ayuden Chronicles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I haven't played another Crab's Treasure, but I kind of like fell off the interest wagon. I saw it and I got the joke and was kind of like, yep, that's probably fine. I don't need to play it. So who could say? Maybe I'll end up playing that one, but I have so many games in line at this point that it's like not a priority, which may be harsh, but that is the way that it go when there's just so many games that come out all of the time and you can only do what you can do. So there we go. That is the start of something new. Do let us know if any of those interested you, if you've got those queued up already, if you already knew that they were in your Game Pass, or if you're going to purchase a Game Pass subscription right here, right now, because of how good and exciting that sounds. With that, we're going to get into a new segment of the show. This episode is brought to you by JesusLovesNerds.com. Have you ever felt like the church wasn't exactly built for nerds? Like there's Sunday school and small groups, but where's the deep dive into theology through the lens of Final Fantasy or Spider-Man or the latest video game? That is where Jesus Loves Nerds comes in. I am NerdPastorNate, the pastor of Checkpoint Church, a church online for nerds, geeks, and gamers. We've been making nerdy sermons for years, almost 150 of them at the point of this recording. We've been taking pop culture, video games, anime, and comics and finding the deeper spiritual truths within them. Now, we're making it easier for you to bring those conversations into your own churches, your own small groups, your own spaces. Every week, we drop a Bible study that pairs with our latest nerdy sermon, perfect for your small group, youth group, or just a group of friends who want to talk faith and fandom. And here is the kicker. Every single month, one of those studies is going to be totally free. No paywall, no gimmicks behind that one, just a resource to help you and your community explore faith through the things that you already love. So, if you've ever wanted to talk about Zelda and Jesus in the same breath, or if you're a pastor even looking for a fresh way to engage nerds, geeks, and gamers in your church or your church community or your fresh expression, this might be for you. Head to JesusLovesNerds.com to subscribe and start using it today because yes, Jesus actually loves nerds, and we do too. All right. Thank you to Jesus Loves Nerds for presenting the show tonight. A little ad spot there for you to enjoy. Before we get into our main topic, which our main topic tonight will be about something super duper cool. The Video Game History Foundation has unveiled something very exciting, a digital library. They've been talking about this for years, but finally we're able to bring it out into the world. Video game history is something that we don't always think about whenever it comes to games. We often don't really think about the past, don't think about history until we just kind of call it retro and maybe see it in like a shop somewhere and maybe think about nostalgia or buying it or how are they going to make more money based off of these old games. There's so many games, but not just games, magazines, behind the scenes materials, things that people made to cover games or the process or the documentary behind them. And all of these materials have just kind of disappeared and been forgotten over the years. But years ago, the Video Game History Foundation started changing that by providing free access to thousands of fully searchable classic gaming magazines and tens of thousands of historic files. This is a big deal for fans and for researchers, for those who simply are gaming history buffs. And so today I wanted to take a quick dive into some of the things that they are including, how they pulled it off, why it matters, all that kind of stuff. DGC, have you ever heard of the Video Game History Foundation?
Yes, I have, and I've actually heard about this, how they were opening this up, which is really great for preservation, especially in this day and age where physical media is basically dying out, and it's a lot harder to be able to play old stuff on modern consoles.
Yeah.
So having that is just incredible. Not have to worry about all the any weird changes. So that's just nice. That's very nice.
It is. It is nice. I would love to say that they were able to solve that issue as of this point of like truly making games available online. I know that some of the stuff that they have is definitely like bordering on the copyright DMCA kind of strikeable stuff, but they have a really good DRM process of how they make sure that files are not illegally downloaded or anything like that. And so they're doing their best to prove their salt, I think, to let people know, like, we are not trying to do anything untoward. We genuinely just care about the preservation of gaming history. And so for the most part, what they've done so far is digitization of old magazines and files from this collection that they have amassed over the years as the foundation has kind of been figured out and gotten donations from the community. So you're going to have issues of GamePro or PC Gamer, or even pamphlets from E3s of just these classic kind of like you can find, I think there's like 11 years that have been transcribed so far. And so it's super interesting. I even looked today and they have Circuit City magazines. So, I mean, it's like random, the stuff that they've got, but it is thorough and interesting and intriguing. And the best part is that it is all fully searchable. So you can instantly look up some of your favorite games or some of your favorite game characters, or even some absurd things. Like I literally just typed in the word spiritual and religion and church and Jesus and just saw like, where does it take me? What am I going to find in these things? And some of them were, not much, but some of them were really interesting. There's a whole magazine that talks about, in particular, Black church studies in regards to video games. And I'm like, that's amazing. I didn't know this magazine existed. And now there's this like reality of this whole world being opened into a fascinating research area for those that are in this industry. You can also see some behind the scenes content, like I mentioned earlier, one of which is super impressive that I recommend going and looking at some of the footage of the making of Myst, the original Myst. They got a like really, really impressive bit of history there with that in particular deep dive, which I don't necessarily remember where it was. We're talking about the Video Game History Foundation and talking about the incredible massive work that they have done. The next thing that I was going to talk about was it was really interesting to listen to the podcast. I recommend a Video Game History Foundation podcast if you haven't listened to it before. It's really interesting, the work that they did to create this thing. They didn't use any kind of pre-built kind of model. Instead, they sort of did everything themselves. They hired people, they did the work, they had volunteers doing the work of building a digitization process, like down to the text recognition. They built it all themselves. They hosted it all themselves. They've got 2 different companies that they're working with as far as now making it like a functioning searchable site. But I think it's incredible what they've done and the fact that they were able to do it. Just more kudos to why I love the Video Game History Foundation, because I think they've done incredible work ever since I first heard about them.
Yeah, definitely are doing amazing things.
I am rooting for them. I'm in their corner and do what I can to support them, share their efforts, donate when I can, that kind of stuff. And one of the noted reasons that they wanted this to be created is not only for the preservation of these articles, but I've kind of mentioned it and alluded to it a couple times. This is now a resource. Like, this is meant for research. This is meant for people to be able to access primary sources of gaming history in a way to present the things that were being discussed 20, 30 years ago. And so I think that is a thing they have spoken as being one of their goals in the creation of this thing. And I think it's a notable goal, and I would love to figure out how I can use it, because I want to run with that and say, yes, this is a cool resource and a cool bit of research to have, and we should be able to present it and explore it in religion and ways that we do it for the church. I don't know what that looks like, but I hope it looks like something.
Yeah.
Another thing worth mentioning is that this is not like they're not done. They have so much. I think they said 5% is what they guessed that they had digitized at this point. So they are really just beginning. They have so much work to do. There is so much that is going to be digitized and brought into library over time. But this just means that this is like they realized something. They had a goal. They set forth that goal. They created the thing, and now they're going to let this be their magnum opus. They're going to keep working on it and crafting it and making it into something that will be very impressive. This just massive chunk of our video game history, down to the Circuit City, preserved digitally for anyone to experience. So I love it.
Yeah, and I look forward to continue seeing them grow.
One of the things I've already started accessing, like I mentioned, I look around for some spiritual things, some religious things. And then after I got bored of searching, I just started clicking randomly and looking at some of them. And there are some great things. I'm already like taking some random screenshots of things that are hilarious. There is one of the video game Narc, which is a like dare against drugs kind of campaign video game that was made. And it is hilarious. The advertisement or like the piece that the person wrote for it is just hysterical. And so I took a picture of that one just because I was like, I've got to share this with somebody who will understand it. And then I posted over in our Discord server at Checkpoint recently the Computer Game Developers Conference. They posted all of their like essays from 1997 or something. And so it's just 900 pages of basically GDC talks that have been typed out and transcribed. It's incredible. It's incredible. It's game changing. I cannot wait to dive deep into all of these things so that I can better place myself in a history that I really didn't get to grow up in because I was a baby. But now I get to experience them in a real way and then also have the nostalgia trips of the things in between. So if anybody is interested, you should go check out library.gamehistory.org, see what you can find, see what you can discover, see what's the weirdest advertisement or old magazine or game that maybe you thought that everybody had forgotten about. See what you can discover in your exploration of it. Support this team. Be a part of the Video Game History Foundation so that we can continue to see the future of games from the past. Cool. Anything else you want to add there, DGC?
Nope.
All right. Well, then with that, let's move in to everybody's favorite segment of the show, which is, of course, Cryptic Critique. That's right, it's time for Cryptic Critiques, everyone's favorite game show. This is the game show of bad reviews for beloved games. I've scoured the internet to find 3 of the funniest bad reviews that I could for popular games. I'm going to deliver them one at a time for our special guest of the week. Play along with us, see if you can figure it out before we get to clue number 3. If you're watching us live, see if you can figure it out before clue number 3. But if you're watching live, remember not to send your guesses until the guest gets to give their final choice at the end of the 3rd prompt. DGC, are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Now let's get into it with our first clue. Our first 1-star review for a beloved game is, I gave it an honest try since I like its vibe so much. But the truth, the honest truth, is that I cannot find math fun. I gave it an honest try since I like its vibe so much. But the truth, the honest truth, I cannot find math fun.
I think I know what this might be.
You've got it already? Got it right from the gun? You want to see? Let's see if another hint cements it for you, okay? All right, okay. Number 2. They said this game was for children. If you can beat this without looking anything up, you probably get accepted to Harvard. They said this game was for children. If you can beat this without looking anything up, you probably get accepted to Harvard. Did that cement it for you, DGC? Or did that throw you further off the trail?
Let me hear the third one.
All right. Third and final prompt. This is the third and final 1-star review for a beloved game. British gentlemen look me dead in the eyes and ask, can you rearrange these matchsticks to make a picture of a dead dog?
I knew it was I wasn't entirely sure, but that definitely cemented it.
Yeah, that's definitely the dead giveaway. If you didn't get it on the third prompt, I would have been disappointed in you. So what is it? What is it, DGC? Let us know.
Oh, which Professor Layton? Oh.
It is indeed Professor Layton and the Curious Village. The first one. Classic.
Yeah, I knew it was Professor Layton. I didn't know if he wanted me to specify. Yes. Yeah, that first clue pretty much gave it away, right? Like, I had a feeling that was probably it, but yeah, that third one is definitely a dead giveaway.
Yeah, I was trying to think, like, maybe this could at least be like Brain Age, you know? There are other games that involved math, so there was a chance it could throw you off, but yeah, Layton definitely is one of those games that is one of a kind in the things that it provides and the experiences and the clues and the mysteries, and I cannot wait for the next one. I'm so excited.
Yes.
All right. Well, that has been Cryptic Critiques. Chats in the clap. I guess we don't have those. I don't have that emoji built into YouTube, but I do have some emoji built into YouTube. We have 4 emoji at this point. We do have memberships now available on our YouTube channel. So if you are interested in being able to use a You Matter emote, if you want to get a shout out during the show, some other random myriad perks and things in there, then consider subscribing here on YouTube as a paid subscription rather than just a normal subscription, becoming a membership. You can do that and get some advanced perks in there. So that'll be cool. That's a way to do it. I've already been spamming some You Matters in the chat, but I can't do chats in the clap. I guess I need to do that one because that's kind of a mainstay. But alas, good job, DGC. And with that, we're going to get into my personal favorite segment of the show, which is going to be completely different this time.
At this point in nerd history.
So it is time for At This Point in Nerd History. However, we have heard some feedback about this point in nerd history being maybe a little bit bland, maybe a little bit not what people were looking for, or just kind of felt like a list of games that didn't really have any kind of relevance. So instead, I'm going to start taking one of the games from At This Point in Nerd History and doing something fun with them. I don't know what we're going to do. And so the game that came out on this day, February 6th, throughout time and space, that I wanted to highlight for this one was the game Sonic Heroes. DGC, did you play Sonic Heroes?
I did indeed. This was actually my very first Sonic game.
Very cool. There's a lot of fun facts about this one. There's a lot of things to offer, such as that it was supposed to be Sonic Adventure 3, but then the vibes were so different that they wound up pivoting. One of my favorite fun facts about this game is that the actual like level developer, there were 2 of them, and one of them got sick and wound up just like backing out of the project. And so this is like one of the most crunched games of all time because this one level editor had to design like all of the levels whenever they thought that it was going to be shared with another person at the last minute. So if you've ever wondered why this game is maybe a little bit too crunchy or some of the levels feel a little bit rushed, such as Team Rose may be feeling a little bit rushed in a lot of the ways, that is because the level editor was quickly made the only level editor. And there is urban legend that they lost 20 pounds in the final month of making this project because they just didn't even have time to eat. They were working on this game so hard, so long. So the bit that we're going to do with this one is a little bit of a segment that I made yesterday in which I found a quiz online for what Sonic character I would be based off of Sonic Heroes from I think it's called like Pro Profs quiz or something. I don't know what it's going to be or what's going to get into, but if you would like to turn your attention to this video and enjoy my experience taking the quiz to find out what Sonic character I am, see if you can guess it before we get to the end. Okay, in honor of Sonic Heroes being released on this day in nerd history, I'm going to be taking a quiz from Pro Props Quizzes to determine what Sonic Heroes character I'm going to be. And there's 3 exclamation points, so they take this very seriously, okay? Let's get it started. What would be my perfect gift? A boyfriend or jewelry? It ain't even about the jewelry. It ain't even about the jewelry. None of these are the thing that I would want. I guess I don't know. Jewelry. It's all about the jewelry. Okay, I got to start the quiz. Okay, I didn't realize that. What would be the perfect gift? Jewelry, boxing set, teddy, running shoes, a boyfriend. I'm saying it's all about the jewelry. It ain't even about the jewelry. If you're walking down the street and a bully comes, what do you do? Stand up against him, trick him, try to be friends, tell him that you know people that could bash him or her. Well, first off, I appreciate that it's only whenever we're beating them up that we include the him, her there. I'm gonna go with try to be friends. That's my stance. What power would you like to possess? The power of friendship, dude. I mean, come on. What's the difference? What's the difference between friendliness or the power to gain friends? And I don't know why annoyingness is an exclamation point. Gosh, I mean, I like to think that I possess these two already, man. I mean, some of this, but I do have asthma and it is crippling. So I'm going to say speed. Am I a boy or a girl? I am a boy. I'm a man. I'm a grown man. But okay, what is your main trait? Annoying. What is my main trait? My main trait, annoying, friendly, pretty, leadership, or stubbornness. I love this quiz so much. My main trait I think I'm a good leader. I'm a good leader. Do I prefer flying, swimming, or running? What? Do I prefer some? I guess I like swimming. I'm a fan of swimming. Last one. What color do you think best describes you? Purple, royal, blue, calm, agile, in control, cream, peaceful, cream. Cream is the character in the game. Red, headstrong, pink, girly. I like purple. I like purple. Oh boy. Hey, great. I got Sonic. I'm Sonic, y'all. I mean, if there was a character I would describe, you are like Sonic. Very fast, very loyal. You show great leadership and look after your friends. You don't easily get annoyed and are a very patient person. Good on ya. All right, well, that's the quiz, and that's who I am. And glad to be not annoying. So there you go. Hopefully you enjoyed that little bit of a quiz from Sonic. That quiz was absurd. I have no idea who made it, how they made it, or what in the world they were thinking behind it. But hopefully you enjoyed that little bit and made, at this point in nerd history, refreshed it. Press the refresh button, figured it out. We'll see. Let me know your thoughts if you enjoyed that segment, what you thought about it. DGC, do you think I'm Sonic? Do you think that's a fair reading? Because I don't think so. My favorite part was the which trait do you possess? And it was annoying, exclamation point. That's not a trait. Not a trait at all.
I don't think you probably would be Sonic.
I've always related to Tails. I thought for sure like Tails is my buddy. I enjoy that character so much, but no such luck. No such luck. Good times, good times. Let's get into our next segment of the show, which is, of course, it's time for upcoming games, some upcoming releases, video games, movies, TV shows, events, things, whatever that is coming up in the next week or so. So, DGC, I will let you start. What is your first one that you want us to know about?
Okay. This weekend, starting Friday, we got the second beta for Monster Hunter Wilds. Very much looking forward to that.
Very cool. And the picture will match up with the next one there. My first one is a game about digging a hole. Releases tomorrow. If you haven't seen this one, this has shown up on my TikTok time and time again. It's a minimalist game about digging a hole in a garden of a newly purchased home. Collect resources, sell them, upgrade your equipment, and discover a mysterious secret. It costs you 1 coffee, says the game developer. I think this game looks absurd and ridiculous, and I want to play it because I'm down for a goofy, fun time. Actually, I think this would be a really good stream game. So maybe we'll stream it at the kickoff next Monday or something because looks interesting enough to me. All right, we've heard your second one, so let's go back to your first one.
Sorry about
You're good.
The newest season of Pokemon Horizons is airing today.
Very good. I started it. I know I watched the very beginning, and I don't remember how far in I made it to the show. It didn't immediately grip me as being a thing that I could write a nerdy sermon about, and so I kind of backed off. But I do remember enjoying the characters well enough, and maybe I should go back. Maybe I need to give it the old college try, another chance. All right, my second one here is Delvirium, coming out tomorrow. Explore, build, farm, craft, and fight in this vast procedurally generated survival adventure for up to 4 players. What you do is up to you, but the deeper you delve, the more you uncover the hidden truth. Could you be the hero to restore stability to the land and put an end to the invading faults? I love games like this. The style of game is real fun. It's something that could just be a good time. I would love to get it in a Humble Bundle because then I wouldn't have to pay for it. But I'm sure it's going to be like a $10 game. That looks interesting enough and has the farming elements while still allowing for just enough of an actual story to grip me and entice me. So we'll see. All right, what's your next one?
On February 9th is the Super Bowl. And while I'm not interested in watching the game itself, they always have fun stuff there, like the commercials and the trailers.
For sure. Yeah, my friend has a theory that the Fantastic Four trailer will be dropping during the Super Bowl. And we'll see. We'll see. I think that would be a close pinch of the teaser and the trailer coming out in the same week of each other, but maybe they want to do that kind of stuff. I will maybe be at a Super Bowl party Sunday night. We will see. I don't think so. I have a feeling we're going to maybe we'll go for an early dinner because our friends are hosting, but time will tell with this one. I'm not particularly interested in the Super Bowl, and I don't really even enjoy the commercials anymore, which I guess makes me a curmudgeon, but for some reason, it's just not been for me for the past little while. But I am very excited about the halftime performance. I love Kendrick, and so I think that it'll be a good time to see that at the very least, but I'll probably watch it on YouTube the day after. My third one is Love Hurts, coming out tomorrow. Keho Kwan stars as Marvin Gable, a realtor working in the Milwaukee suburbs where for sale signs bloom. Gable receives a crimson envelope from Rose, played by Ariana DeBose, a former partner in crime that he had left for dead. She's not happy. Now, Marvin is thrust back into the world of ruthless hitmen, filled with double crosses and open houses turned into deadly war zones. With his brother Knuckles, I can't believe his name is Knuckles, Daniel Wu, a volatile crime lord hunting him, Marvin must confront the choices that haunt him and the history he never truly buried. A fun little Valentine's Day romp. I think it's going to be goofy and popcorn movie nothing too deep about it, but just kind of an experience that will be had. All right, that is our upcoming releases, things that are coming out this week. I hope that you got something on your list based off of any of those. But before we go and wrap up the show, we are going to, of course, have to have our final segment of the show, which is our meme of the week this week is my own. You guys chose me above everyone else. You reacted the most to my post with David Hayter here. This is Science Girl Guns N' Roses 3 posting on X or Blue Sky or something, Metal Gear being repaired. And then David Hayter replies and says, look, you fix that Metal Gear all you like. I'm only going to destroy it again. David Hayter, of course, being the voice of Snake in Metal Gear, and just a good time. A good goof. I thought it was fun, and clearly, so did everyone else. If you'd like to be considered for our meme of the week, join our Discord server over at Checkpoint Church, discord.gg/checkpointchurch, and post in the memes and goofs channel, and the ones that get the most reactions are the ones that get our meme of the week status. Cool. Good stuff. Good times had by all DGC. Shout out. What would you like to share with us? Anything you want to let us know or send our folks to as we wrap up the show?
I'll be starting up. I recently started up my Science Gay Elite playthrough, so it'd be nice if y'all can come over and check that out on my YouTube channel.
Which is just DGC, yeah?
Yes.
Awesome. That would be great. All right. Well, thank you for being a part of the show. And thanks everybody for hanging out in the chat. I know this has been different with us over on YouTube. We'll figure it out. We'll work out the kinks and make things work. And hopefully we won't have to disconnect every single week. That would be nice. This has been Twig, your weekly, geekly, family-friendly news show delivered live on our YouTube channel, Checkpoint Church, each and every week, keeping your family connected to the world of nerdy news. If you watched this far, you likely enjoyed this one. Remember to give us a 5-star on your podcast app. Click that like button. Recommend the show to all of your favorite nerds. We're going to end this show. We appreciate everyone who watches, shares, likes, all those things. But there are some folks who go and give the extra $1 and subscribe to us over on Twitch or are members here on YouTube. So we're going to give a shout out to those folks in particular. So thank you, Teeny Christina P, Sugar Haiku, Trombone Dog, NerdPastorNate, Mine from Marlena, Coyote42, Wise and Lemurs, Sneaky Pig 633, Gobi Church, Twilight 27, Zando Calrissian, DGC 12 1996, Jada the Scribbler, Maybe 30 Bats, Perspective, and Bweesh. Is there going to be Twig next week? Yes, we are back for a couple weeks. I think we take a week off at the end of the month, but we still have a couple of episodes here in February to get back into the swing of things, and I'm looking forward to it. That we're going to end the show with our 3 things that we believe to be true about every single one of you out there. We believe, number 1, that God loves you, really, really loves you. Number 2, we love you. We want community with you. That's why we're doing this, why we talk about these things. And then number 3, that you, yes, you matter. You are a person of sacred worth. The world is a better place. Why? Because you are in it. Folks, with that, until the next time that I see you, let me know your thoughts on season 5, this first episode. What'd you think? How do you like the new stuff? How do you like the things that we're changing around? We're going to keep on innovating and figuring out, but I would love to hear your thoughts. With that, until the next time that I see you, be well,